Hey guys, what's up? It's Dave with Everyday Rants, and this is, I guess we'll say, podcast number 10. It's kind of a continuation of the last one. On this one, though, all I'm really going to talk about, I want to talk about the WWE Royal Rumble that just happened last night. I'm going to go through each match. I'll tell you who won. I'll tell you who I thought was going to win. Then I'll give you um, my ideas of what I thought of each match and the Rumble itself. You might ask, who am I to give any type of criticism or judgments? But I have been a WWE fan since I was 12 years old, 1992. When I saw my first match was at actually WrestleMania 8. Shawn Michaels versus El Matador, Tito Santana. And from that minute, I fell in love with the sport. Fell in love with the theatrics of it. I was and still am a huge Shawn Michaels fan ever since that match I watched him. Became one of my idols in the wrestling world of kind of how I wanted to portray my character when I went into wrestling, and I did train to wrestle for about a little over a year plus, out in Holbrook, Long Island. I trained back in the year 2000 to 2001 at the Hardcore Wrestling Alliance, the HWA. It was run by Paul Loria, who I think he did some stuff with ECW for a little bit. And I was told when I signed up with my buddy Rich that there were a couple other guys affiliated with it. One was this other guy, Storm and Norman, was his wrestling name. Really nice guy too. Only had a couple instances of where I got to speak to him and stuff like that. And the other big name that was always told to us that it was run by, but later on found out that he kind of wasn't involved. Whatever. It's no sour grapes. I love the time I spent there. But the other guy was ECW's, if you remember, Mikey Whipwreck. He was an ECW champion. He was in WCW for a little time. Well, on TV for a little time. But I only got to meet him once. I met him a bunch of times because I did, when I first started, I did some security for their monthly shows. And then I did a couple shows for them right before it kind of went out of business, or whatever you want to say. But it's not sour grapes. I mean, I don't care. I don't care who was actually running it. As long as it was someone that had some type of professional pedigree and had some experience themselves, I didn't care at that time. I just wanted to train. I wanted to learn the craft of what I love to watch. And I did. I never am the type. I won't pat myself on the back. I'll never, but, I really enjoyed it, and feedback I used to get from some of the other trainers and the guy Paul himself, I had something there, a little bit of a talent. I wish I kept going. I kind of didn't. At the end of my time with the HWA, was kind of at the time when HWA itself was starting to kind of just fade out because there's just some bad planning, bad advice, bad promotion, I guess. Whatever. I'm not blaming anybody. The guys that ran it were young at that time. They were young. They were a little older than me. I was 20, 21. They were a little older than me. Probably in their maybe mid to late 20s, maybe late 20s, early 30s. So around like my age now, give or take. And I get it. They just loved wrestling. They wanted to get to school. I get they wanted to make money and wanted to do these shows. And, I get it. I don't hold any ill will. I appreciate everything I learned there. And to this day, so many years later since I stopped. I mean, the last time I ever wrestled in a match, regardless if it was in an actual wrestling ring or in a backyard, because I did a lot of those shows, or house shows. And when I say house shows, I don't mean like WWE house shows. I mean, I used to go to, people used to call me up, buddies or friends of friends, and be like, hey, I'm having a party at my house. We're going to do some wrestling. Like, it could be in a yard or in a house, like in an actual like living room. Would you be down? And I just loved it so much. I didn't care where it was. I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And I didn't do this shit for money. I didn't get paid. Never got paid for any of the wrestling stuff I did, which is fine. I wasn't in it for the money. I was in it for the theatrics, the storytelling, I loved being in front of a crowd, doing my heel things. I liked being a heel. I was never into doing the face. I liked being a heel. You have more fun as a heel. But yeah, I did train from 2000 to 2001, a little over a year. Worked a couple live shows I used to do once a month to a packed. I mean, the school I was in, it was kind of like it was a warehouse basically. So there was the huge warehouse door that in the summer and stuff we would have open, and you can go through there. That's what they would open during the shows. They used to do it once a month. It was like I think Thursday nights, like 8 o'clock or something like that, 7 o'clock. They'd open that up. You go in, and when you walked in, there was like a little area there with like a bathroom. They used to have like their little stand where they used to sell like drinks and chips and stuff. Then there was a door entering into the actual warehouse. That's where the ring was. Used to be set up with chairs when shows were going on. When it wasn't, it was just mats. They had some exercise equipment in there. There was the locker room, and then there was a little office where like Paul and a couple of the other guys used to have desks. I guess do their office stuff, whatever. And I loved it. It was such a great time. I went twice a week, couple hours. Used to hang out a little afterwards, work with a couple of the guys. Some guys I worked with that some of you may know. I worked with the Amazing Red. He used to come there. There was a Quiet Storm, Joey Devine, I think it was, and then there was the SAT, Spanish announce team. I think it was Joel and Kelvin, I want to say. I have a good memory with stuff. Sometimes, though, lately stuff has been drifting. But they used to come. They didn't actually like train at the school. They were already had training and stuff. But they used to come and work after class hours in the ring, just working on some stuff. And I used to hang around sometimes and work with them, and they teach me stuff, and I would learn stuff. And I was never the type of person that wouldn't take advice from people. Never am. I will always take advice, especially from people that have been doing stuff longer than me or know more than me. And I only need to be shown once or twice what to do with anything, and then I really can take it by the balls. Take the bull by the horns. The saying goes. The balls. What the hell am I talking about? Freudian slip, I guess. But I could really take the bull by the horns once I am shown something once or twice, and I will never ask again because I know it. That's how I've been with everything: school, work, any type of jobs I've been in, even doing this podcast stuff and editing stuff. I just needed to be shown once or twice, and then I could do it, and I could take it, and I could improve on it to my abilities, my capabilities. But yeah, it was a good time wrestling, man. I used to wrestle with this dude. He was in my class. This guy, Big Chris. He wrestles for the New York Wrestling Connection. I don't know if he still does. I don't know, but over here on Long Island, he was a big dude, man. So awesome, though. Such a nice guy. Me and him, we stuck out the whole year. We had a lot of people coming and going. You get some guys that come in, they act like they're tough shit, and then like a month later, they're out. And one thing, it was funny, we used to train. You'd get there, you'd warm up, you do some stuff, you'd warm up outside the ring, then you go in the ring and you'd run ropes, or you'd run through the basic moves of like the lock up, and then, going into all your different, arm bars or, crap like that. Then they would start teaching you as the weeks went on. You would start advancing in your knowledge of learning certain moves, certain techniques, stuff like that. And the last half hour, you would go with I forgot the guy's name. I think he was related to Whipwreck, but I can't remember. I think it might have been his brother. I can't remember his name. Oh shoot! I'm sorry if I doubt they're listening, but I apologize. I can't remember. He was a hard ass, with the 30-minute, because it was like the last 30 minutes. I think it was 30 minutes. Yeah, it was like cardio, and they used to, he used to run. I guess he was a drill sergeant. Actually, I think that's what they used to call him, DI, drill instructor. I don't know. He was a nice guy out of that, but in that half hour, you fucking hated him because he made you. But he made you work. I mean, it was cardio like nonstop. It was a half hour of nonstop just craziness. What did I have to do at wrestling? I have no clue, but I'm assuming it was to build up the stamina, because in wrestling you need to have stamina. You need to be able to go a long time, and the show must always go on. Doesn't matter if you get hurt or whatever. The show goes on. Unless you're dead and you can't walk, the show must go on. But the one thing I'll pride myself on to this day, they used to do the cardio and they would pride themselves on when they made somebody throw up. These are buckets everywhere. And I've seen it. I heard it. There were people right next to me vomiting. To this day, and I'm not bullshitting, I never threw up. Never even came close to throwing up. Did I sweat? Sweat like a motherfucker. Did I cry? No, never cried. Did I want to cry sometimes? Yeah, I was in pain. Sometimes the next day I couldn't fucking walk. I'd be going to work walking like a duck, like waddling back and forth because my back was killing me. My ass was hurting just from, because people don't know, you bounce off those ropes. That's friggin' like elevator cables in that wrapped with like I don't know what it's wrapped with. I guess like not a rubber, maybe it is rubber. It's kind of like a tape kind of thing. Those shits hurt, man, and you'd have to run it for like 15 minutes straight, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Then they'd throw somebody in going the other way, so you had to like get in sync with the person going the opposite way of you. So you'd be going one way, the other person would be going the other way. And you'd get 15, 20 minutes of that. You start getting dizzy. You start like losing your balance, and you bounce it into these friggin' elevator cables where right under your armpit where they bounce. If you watch them, they bounce. Armpit would be bruised underneath that armpit on the back, and your ass would be bruised and killing you. Taking bumps was never, once you got used to it, it was good, but you had to make sure you landed right. There's certain ways if you landed right, you hurt your back a little bit, but the pain went away. It is what it is. But so that's where I'm coming from, where I feel like I watch wrestling with a little bit more of a fine eye, I want to say, than like the average fan. So, and I used to run my own little stuff. Granted, it wasn't anything great. It was in my backyard. It was with friends. But I used to write my own storylines. I used to write dialogue. I used to write what I wanted people to say, or at least bullet points. Say, hey, you can say whatever you want, but I used to tell them, I'm giving you 5 minutes, and I want you to hit boom, boom, boom. You have to hit these 3 points. I don't care what order, how you get to it, but you have to hit that. That was I loved doing the storytelling and everything. So you're going to hear a lot of that too with me, with the writing and stuff like that. So let's get into it. It was the WWE Royal Rumble 2016. It was in Orlando, Florida. And let's start first. They had on the kickoff show, they had a Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match with the winners being entered into the Royal Rumble. It was the Ascension versus the Dudley Boys versus Mark Henry and Jack Swagger. Don't understand that pairing. And Damian Sandow and Darren Young. Again, don't understand that pairing. Why wasn't it Young and O'Neal, the primetime players? Why not just throw Sandow in this? And Sandow, believe it or not, I haven't seen him in so long because I don't watch SmackDown. I didn't see him in so long, but the crowd was still into him. I mean, when he was the Miz's body double, whatever the hell his name was. What the hell did they call him? Shit, that's how long ago, I can't remember. He was so over. They blew that, I think. Totally blew that. So anyway, basically, Henry and Swagger won. I predicted that. I predicted that on my videos that I was posting live on our Facebook page for Everyday Geek. I predicted Henry and Swagger. I felt Mark Henry, this could be close to his swan song of retiring and heading out of the WWE. He's kind of not needed anymore. I don't find him entertaining. I never did, even back in the day. I always thought he was overrated. Never got him. But they let Henry and Swagger go over. Swagger, I don't understand how he's not even bigger than he is. The guy looks like a perfect wrestler. He's tall, built like a brick house. He's got the look. I don't understand how he's not bigger than what he is. But they won, so they were into the Royal Rumble. And, one complaint I have about this whole thing, well, not one. I have a few complaints. One is, what the hell are they doing with the Dudley Boys? The Dudley Boys are probably one of the greatest tag teams in all of wrestling history. The stuff they used to do in ECW, when they came to the WWF originally in the 90s, in the early 2000s, the stuff they did with the Hardys and Edge and Christian, I mean, I used to, that's when I was really into wrestling. I mean, those matches were phenomenal. Then they went on to TNA, did their stuff there. Bubba Ray did his own solo stint, Champ, all that stuff. What are they doing with the Dudley Boys? They came back, they had them on a little bit of a heat. Now they just seem to be putting people over and just there for nostalgia feel. Like, if you don't want to give them the titles, fine. But, man, have them battling the New Day or elevating these new groups. Have them start a huge program with the Ascension, who I think is another team that the WWE has mishandled since they debuted them from NXT. Ever since they let them come in the ring and get abused by all four of the old tag teams, the Acolytes and who else was it? It was wasn't it DX and or the Outsiders, and some other tag teams. Just let these older guys annihilate them. That killed the Ascension. The Ascension should be repackaged, refueled, start a huge feud with the Dudley Boys where, they're doing table matches and doing hardcore stuff, and just let them go out, and the Dudleys could help elevate these other tag teams. Why they're not doing that, I don't get. I don't understand that. But so Henry and Swagger won. I predicted that. I'm fine with that. I hate tag teams in the Royal Rumble. Always have, because there is no chance in hell of anyone in a tag team ever winning a Royal Rumble. I hate tag teams. Like, I hate, when they used to have the Bushwhackers coming, or, back when the Rockers were the Rockers, or the Legion of Doom, or whatever. Like, no. Tag teams should not be allowed because it's stupid. It's an automatic, elimination. So that was the kickoff match. And then the pay-per-view started, and it started with what an awesome match to open up a pay-per-view. Fantastic. It was the Intercontinental title match. It was a last man standing, and it was Kevin Owens against Dean Ambrose, the defending champion, and it was just such an awesome match. If you didn't watch the Royal Rumble, go check it out. If you're not into wrestling anymore or whatever, go check out that match, because that match was fantastic. They had crazy-ass bumps all over the place, tables, chairs, kendo sticks. You name it, it was involved. And it was good. It was really good. It ended up with Ambrose winning. Basically, the spot was earlier in the match, Kevin Owens outside the ring, in the corner of the outside of the ring where the the turnbuckles are. He set up one table and then a table on top of that, and that sat there for about 5-10 minutes. Then the end of the match, just setting up a thing with these chairs where it looks like Kevin Owens is gonna backflip or something onto Dean Ambrose through these chairs, but while he's getting up to the top rope, Ambrose comes, tosses him over. He does a flip right through the tables to the outside of the ring. Can't get up for the 10 count. Ambrose retains, makes both competitors look totally fantastic. Makes them both look strong. They both were great. They both held it up. They both come off the match looking great. Ambrose keeps his title, which is great for later on. I'll get into that, why I think that was a smart move. I did want Owens to win, I'm not going to lie, but what they did later that night made sense to me why they kept the title on Ambrose, and I'll let you know why. But the pops they got was fantastic. The crowd was so good. The Orlando crowd was fantastic. They were into it, and they were real true fans. They weren't these, I'm going to come watch every once in a while. They had chants going. They really knew the WWE, and they really made it a great show as well. So we get the Intercontinental title match out of the way. Great match, 5 stars, just phenomenal. Great booking, everything. Then we get to the tag team titles, which was the New Day defending their titles against the Usos. Now, I'm going to say it again. I don't understand the Usos. I feel like they're overrated. I find them to be very boring. They seem to be put sometimes in feuds or matches with teams that I do like. So those teams I feel elevate them. But the Usos to me are extremely boring. I don't get their gimmick. I don't like it. I always wonder, if they didn't have the bloodline they have, would they be in the WWE or at least pushed as much as they are down our throats? But WWE pushing stuff down our throats and forcing stuff on us, it's become second nature, and we'll get into that even more as well. But the New Day retained their titles in an okay match. Wasn't a bad match at all. New Day is just fantastic. I hated New Day when they first came on the scene because I thought they were being misused, misrepresented. I felt like they weren't faces. They just didn't seem like a face faction. And then once they let them turn heel and start this funny bits and all this stuff and the talking, these three have found their niche, and I absolutely love it. What I would like to see, I would like to see them let Xavier Woods do more stuff, because it always seems like it's Kofi and Big E tagging together, or like Kofi was in the Rumble later on. I'll get into that, but he was the only New Day member in the Rumble. What I would love to see is maybe transition the titles to be more of New Day, but more of Kofi and Xavier together, and maybe get Big E into a program for the Intercontinental or the U.S. title, and let Big E let them get some singles titles to elevate this New Day group, and that keeps the momentum going, the build of the New Day, because I find it great. Maybe let it go a little long. Maybe they could add another member. Maybe Cruz down in NXT. Maybe have him come up and be part of the New Day or something. But I would like to see them get another piece of gold on either Big E or Kofi. I think Big E would be better off with like the Intercontinental or the U.S. title, and I'd like to see Xavier Woods more involved in the matches. But so New Day won. I was happy with that. The match itself was good because of New Day. Usos, I don't get them, and they were getting booed too, which was fantastic. New Day was getting cheered like crazy. Usos were getting booed. This crowd was into it. They knew what was going on. Then we get to the U.S. title match. Now, I had picked Alberto Del Rio to retain his title. I don't know why. I just thought he was. But they actually went and had Kalisto beat him again for the title. So Kalisto now is a 2-time U.S. champion. I hope they let him hold on to it now and do something else with Alberto Del Rio then. Let Kalisto hold on to it now. Maybe that could be a title they defend a lot on SmackDown. And maybe elevate it that way. But it was an okay match. There were a decent amount of botched moves and uncomfortable feeling watching this match, where like kind of moments you like cringe, you're like, oh, how'd they botch that or whatever. So it was what it was. It was a U.S. title match. Kalisto won. The crowd popped. So that's it. I'm not going to go into further into that. Then they had the Divas title. And it was Charlotte, the Divas champ, versus Becky Lynch, both friends from NXT. Ric Flair was in Charlotte's corner. There was a creepy moment in the match where Ric Flair like grabbed Becky Lynch's face and like kissed her. It kind of reminded me of like when you're at like, a family function for the holidays and like your drunk ass grandpa like goes and kisses one of the girlfriends of like the grandkids, like kisses them on the lips or says hi but kisses them all sloppily, and you're just like, ew, gross. But anyway, so that match was okay. It was good. It was good to see Charlotte come out into this heel role, which I think fits her perfectly. Becky Lynch was a perfect underdog. I as the match went on, I had picked Charlotte to retain, which she did. But as the match was going on, I was starting to really get into the Becky Lynch character. I was never really into her, but I was feeling it. But they had some weird moments too, like when Ric Flair threw a coat on Becky's head and she acted like she couldn't get it off her. It was just weird. It's stuff like that. I don't understand if the writing team understands how stupid it comes off to the general public. Like, why couldn't Ric Flair have taken his jacket off, curled it into a ball, threw it at her instead of getting it stuck on her head, and then like Becky just get up, like, what are you getting involved for? Stuff like that, instead of looking like an idiot with a coat on her head. I don't know. That was just stupid. But then Sasha Banks, who I absolutely love. I think she is not only super attractive and beautiful, I think she is probably one of the better talents in the Divas department. Super talented. She comes out, crowd pops huge for Sasha. She comes in, she pushes Becky out of the ring, she shakes Charlotte's hand, everybody's like, oh my god, did she join Charlotte? Ric Flair leaves the ring. Charlotte turns her back to Sasha. Sasha nails her. I think, what is her move called? The bank statement, right? Or something like that. Nails her with that, then gets her in that other move she does. I'm not familiar with the names of the moves that much. And the crowd just popped. So I guess they're setting up the, Charlotte and Sasha Banks. I don't know what they'll do with Becky Lynch, but they're setting up Charlotte and Sasha for sure for WrestleMania. And the one diva I really feel bad for is Paige. Like, what happened to Paige? Paige was like the diva. She must have really pissed somebody off, because she has fell off the face of the earth. You barely see her on Raw. She's barely involved in anything with the title anymore. What a shame, because Paige is absolutely super talented, super over with the fans. Another beautiful young lady. I don't know what they're doing. And I need Nikki Bella back. That's my girl. I need Nikki back. But anyway, so those were the matches. So we had New Day retained their titles. Charlotte retained her Divas title. Ambrose retained his Intercontinental title. Mark Henry and Jack Swagger advanced into the Royal Rumble on the kickoff matchup. And Kalisto won the U.S. title from Alberto Del Rio. Then we get into the Royal Rumble. Now, the Royal Rumble had not much that anticipation for the number one pick because they did that on Raw with that horrible segment with Vince and Steph. So we all knew number one was going to be Roman Reigns. I don't know why they just didn't leave that alone. Don't do anything on Raw. Just have it go, build it up. Like, here's number one. Wait a few minutes. Maybe make the audience wait a minute or two. And then, boom, you hit that music. Everybody would know he got screwed. Everybody would know, they screwed Roman Reigns. They gave him number one. You don't have to do all that nonsense on Raw and waste time where you could have had a decent match and give some wrestlers some airtime. Again, these are the parts of the WWE that I can't stand and I didn't like back even in my day. This stupid shit. But anyway, so Roman comes out. Boo to high heaven. It felt like I was watching Royal Rumble last year. He was booed nonstop. So apparently the push is not working, Vince and Triple H. Stop shoving it down our throats. Okay? He had a little bit of a pop the last 2 months. Little bit because you had him against Sheamus. But as soon as he comes into the realm of actual wrestlers that most fans enjoy and like, not saying anything against Sheamus. He's a good wrestler. But he's going to get booed. Roman Reigns is not over. Roman Reigns should not be a two-time WWE champion. Roman Reigns is very limited in his mic skills, and his wrestling is not that great. Roman Reigns has been force-fed to us since last year's Royal Rumble. And it's not working. Give it up, Vince. Give it up, Triple H. Roman Reigns will never be what you want him to be. He will not be the next Hulk Hogan. He will not be the next Steve Austin. He will not be the next John Cena. He will not be the next Daniel Bryan. Roman Reigns is not a great wrestler. And the true audience is trying to tell you guys to stop. And then you'll hear Triple H on podcasts say, well, at house shows, he gets crazy pops. Of course at house shows he gets crazy pops because I've been to tons of house shows in the last 2 years because house shows you get like 10 superstars. I don't cheer for him, but all the kids and all the girls do. Some guys do because when you're at a house show, he's usually the biggest star. Because you've let your mid-card flounder for so long that when you see R-Truth or Curtis Axel or Stardust or Adrian Neville, you don't give a shit. Because you barely see them on TV, and when you do, most of the time they're getting buried by somebody. So you guys have done this. I mean, I can come out and probably get a pop at a house show because that's what happens. Anybody gets a pop at a house show as long as you're a face. I bet you if you put him on a house show in a match against Daniel Bryan, he won't get a pop. Or now put him against Dean Ambrose. Roman Reigns ain't getting that pop. Put him up against Dolph Ziggler. Roman Reigns is not getting that pop. You put him up against Rusev, yeah, he's going to get a pop. Duh. But anyway. So, Reigns is in. Number 2 comes, and it's Rusev. Rusev is in and out. I mean, what the fuck happened to Rusev? What did they do to the Rusev character and gimmick? It is the laziest, horrendous, just poorly executed gimmick that started off with such promise, and they have destroyed. I mean, Lana and Rusev must have really pissed somebody off in the WWE. Because he went from being the undefeated Russian to the jobber to stars now. He is a fucking joke. And they blew it. They could have built something up huge for this WrestleMania with an undefeated Rusev still going. Huge. They blew it. Rusev is a jobber. And if you remember, if you go back and watch my WrestleMania recap when he lost to John Cena, I said in my recap of that show on YouTube, I said, Rusev will now become a jobber. He lost to John Cena. The momentum was killed to John Cena, who didn't need the win. And now Rusev is a jobber. Might as well rank him up there with Dwayne Gilbert and Gilbert and Brooklyn Brawler, Bastion Booger, and those other guys. He has failed. And then number 3. Now, why number 3's entrance was significant? Because it was the debut of the phenomenal one himself, AJ Styles. And I'm going to be honest, guys, I marked out. I popped huge. The music, I was like, I don't know whose music this is. So I knew it was someone new. I was like, I don't recognize the music. But when they turned and they showed the screen and it said phenomenal, I popped. AJ Styles is here. And I'm praying to the wrestling gods. I'm going to pray right now. Ready? In the name of Hulk Hogan, the Ultimate Warrior, Roddy Piper, and The Undertaker. Dear Vince, wrestling god, please don't fuck up the AJ Styles storyline and gimmick. AJ Styles is one of the most talented, over, and super charismatic wrestlers that have never wrestled in the WWE. Don't destroy him because he's not a WWE guy. Don't destroy him because he's smaller than the other guys. Remember people like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Daniel Bryan. These guys were small in stature to what you liked, Vince McMahon, god of wrestling. Please don't kill AJ Styles. You heard the pop. The pop never ended. The chants never ended. It seemed like every 2 to 3 minutes you heard a huge AJ Styles chant break out. AJ Styles. AJ Styles. AJ Styles. This is for a guy who's never set foot in a WWE ring. It's showing you, Vince, that the WWE fans, the true WWE fans, are smarter than you think. We know about TNA and the Indies. We know who's coming up. And AJ Styles in the WWE is a good thing. As long as you, Vince, the wrestling god, see it to fruition where it could go. Don't have him job to Triple H, your 40-year-old son-in-law. Don't have him job to Roman Reigns, the non-talented Sid Justice or Sid Vicious of our time. Don't have him job to John Cena, probably the worst wrestler I've seen since Hulk Hogan. AJ Styles should be included right away in an Intercontinental title program with Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens. And the title should be moved to him fast. Because he will elevate that thing to... he will elevate that to areas you never know it could be brought to. AJ Styles is that damn good. He is one of the only reasons I used to watch TNA back in the day. The only reason I watched TNA back in the day was AJ Styles. So AJ Styles comes out at number 3. And he got... Him and Sasha Banks and the whole night, I think, got the biggest pops. Which is saying a lot. Which is awesome. AJ Styles comes out, and luckily, he came out, great pop, he looked good, he was in it for a while. Did I think he was going to win? Absolutely not. Would it have been really crazy if he won? I think that would have been unprecedented, and really shown that the writers are really taking something by the balls and really risking a lot. I think it would have been phenomenal, no pun intended. Can you imagine a superstar wrestler on the level of AJ Styles, who's never stepped foot in the WWE, premieres at the Royal Rumble at number 3, outlasts everybody, and wins the WWE title? Do you know what your ratings would be like on Monday? It's not going to be like what it's going to be tonight. Imagine the wrestling world, the news, new WWE champion, AJ Styles? But no, lazy WWE booking couldn't do that. They couldn't do a lot of other stuff I'm going to get into, but no, that's too far out of the realm. That's too much. That Vince can't have that happen. He's not a WWE guy. He's not a WWE guy. I'm going to bury him like I buried the whole WCW talent when I bought them. Because that's what Vince does. Anyway, so I'm trying to think. So the Rumble goes on. I predicted, I'll give you guys, I predicted my final four. In my head, I predicted Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, and Bray Wyatt. The only reason I thought Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt, because I was hoping I was hoping that the Wyatt family would have helped Bray stay in that long, and then somehow it would have broke down to be Brock, Roman, Bray, and what's his face, Strowman, who I don't like, but it was just for the effect, the visual. And then I figured, I'd have them fight. Somehow I'd have like Roman gets hurt, he's in the corner or whatever, and Bray and Braun are just teaming up on Brock, and they got Brock on the ledge trying to push him, get him over. Or no, you know what would have been better? You have Brock looks like he's about to eliminate Bray Wyatt, and then Strowman just comes up behind him and just tosses him out. All of a sudden, place is shocked. Brock's out. Brock's all like, "What the f? Like, what the fuck just happened?" Strowman's looking over the ring like, "Yeah," and maybe then you have like, then what I would have had, it was Bray like look at Strowman and point like, "Go over. I got this. Go over." Like telling him like, "You're my sheep. Go over now." And, Braun just puts his leg over, eliminates himself. Him and Brock are fighting all the way back to the locker room. And then you gotta hurt Roman Reigns in the corner. He's just been in it since number one. He's exhausted, tired. Bray starts doing his crazy shit, beating the shit out of Roman. Then all of a sudden Roman starts coming back. The crowd is booing because like they know, okay, one of these guys walking out the champ, and we don't want Roman. So the crowd's booing as Roman's making his comeback. Hits that stupid Superman punch, which is the stupidest friggin' move in the world. Boom, boom, boom. You think he's about to eliminate Bray, then boom, no, you hear, "No chance. No chance in hell. You've got no chance." And here comes Vince with his stupid strut with Stephanie with him. He's coming down like, "Oh, you're not going to..." Roman starts getting distracted like, "What the... get out of here, get out of here." Vince is right there like down on the ground looking up at him like, "You're not going to win that title, Roman Reigns. You're not going to win." Then I would have had, just all of a sudden, you get fucking Bray goes on the other side, does his weird spider crawl. Roman Reigns turns around. There's Bray in that weird spiral. Roman's just looking at him. He shoots up, maybe kicks him in the gut, gets him for that the Sister Abigail. Boom, hits him, picks him up, tosses him over. He's eliminated. Now, here's a few things I would have done. It puts the title on someone that's deserving because he's been doing a lot for the WWE, putting people over, and his mic work is fantastic. His in-ring ability is not bad, and he's got charisma and character. Bray Wyatt. He's also got a faction behind him that can keep that title on him for a while to set up for the Seth Rollins face turn when he returns. What I would have done is you have Roman Reigns out, so now everybody's happy because Roman Reigns is not the champ, and you've suddenly turned Bray Wyatt into either he would go face or people wouldn't be so upset that he's got the title. And it injects some youth with the title, someone that actually has mic skills and charisma and character and can work programs with anybody. And he's surrounded by that threesome of the Wyatt family to help him keep that title for as long as they wanted him to. That would have been my idea. Now, again, that was my idea before I knew AJ Styles was in it. Would I have done something different knowing AJ Styles was going to be in it? Maybe. But then you start setting up for WrestleMania. Now you got Braun Strowman to feud with Brock Lesnar, or even Bray Wyatt versus Brock Lesnar for the title. You have Roman go a little different direction for the time being to have them continue to try whatever push they're trying to do with him, which is failing. But that would have been what I did. But that's not what the WWE did. I'll give you a few other points of people that it was really awesome to see Goldust come out. I haven't seen him in a while, and I was always a big Goldust fan. So it was cool to see Goldust. And one funny spot was R-Truth. R-Truth comes out. Again, a waste of a talent that the WWE has, but that's all they do is waste talent. So R-Truth comes out. He starts pulling out a ladder, which is kind of funny. And everybody's just standing around the ring just staring at him. He puts the ladder in the ring. He sets it up in the middle of the ring. He climbs the ladder, and then he looks up like he's looking for like the Money in the Bank or a title or something. And he's just looking like all shocked. And I think Kane like grabs him and then like eliminates him. I think it was Kane or Braun Strowman, one of those big dudes. That was funny spot. The Rumble itself was good. I'm not gonna complain, but then they have Roman. First off, Roman gets hurt. The League of Nations comes out and beats the shit out of Roman, to where they have to get a stretcher, and He doesn't even get stretchered out. He walks back to the back. The WWE champion is too hurt to continue in the Rumble, so he volunteers to walk to the back. Let me repeat that. The WWE champion, on his own merit, is injured, takes himself and walks to the back, takes himself out of the Royal Rumble for his title. That's really going to win you points, Vince, in your write-in scheme. That's really going to win you points with the fans. That the champ just left. On his own. Didn't need to be stretchered out. Meanwhile, Kevin Owens comes out for the Royal Rumble. He's limping because he just had an epic brawl with Dean Ambrose earlier that night. He came to the ring and wrestled. That's why Kevin Owens is over. Huge. And that's why Roman Reigns is not. Because they're portraying Reigns like an idiot. They're portraying Roman Reigns like an idiot. And that's how the fans are treating him. Like an asshole. So Owens comes out. Him and AJ start going at it, which is awesome. I think every little fanboy went crazy. So he eliminates AJ, which is okay. You know, they couldn't have Roman do it because Roman would have been booed even more than he already is. They did it, Kevin. So that's okay because maybe they're setting up. I would love to see something set up with Dean, Owens, and Styles, and even Sami Zayn entered the ring, and he went right after Kevin Owens, and he eliminated Owens. I would like to see the four of them somehow get involved in something, which would be awesome. But so that was good. Some other entrants. There were no real surprise besides the AJ Styles was the only real surprise entrance until I guess you get to number 30, which wasn't that huge of a surprise. But Brock comes in. Brock eliminates the whole Wyatt family except for Bray because he wasn't out yet because the Wyatt family was just running crazy, eliminating everybody. Brock comes in. He eliminates the Wyatt family and whatever. Then Bray comes in. Him and Brock have a standoff, but then the rest of the Wyatt family come back. They double team him, triple or four-way team him, whatever. And Bray throws Brock over, kind of lackluster. Kind of felt like Brock was wasted. Whatever. I guess that's setting up a Bray Wyatt Brock Lesnar feud. I don't know why we need that. So what? Bray could lay down for Brock now again? I mean, I love Brock, but why couldn't Brock have fought somebody else? Why is he fighting Bray Wyatt? Anyway, so then let's get into, we get the number 30 comes out, and it's Triple H. Whatever. Triple H comes back. No mention at all about his injury or that he was out or that he's not even a full-time wrestler. That the last time he actually wrestled in a match was the previous WrestleMania against Sting when he went over in a match that he shouldn't have went over then either. Sting should have won that. That should have been Sting's match to win. Let him have one, Triple H. You cocksucking... I've never liked Triple H. Not as a wrestler. Fantastic wrestler. But all the stories you hear about him, he's just an asshole. And, I mean, I'll get into it a little bit more, but, I mean, I felt like near the end I was watching a WCW pay-per-view, and I'll get into why. So we'll get down, we'll fast forward to the Final Four. Final Four, we have Roman Reigns came back out eventually, to the crowd's dismay. Still getting booed to high heaven. So we had Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, Triple H, and, oh, crap. Who was the fourth? Was it Sheamus? Might have been Sheamus. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank. But it might have been Sheamus. And Sheamus gets eliminated somehow. I don't remember how. Then it's, Dean's in the corner. He's, beat the shit. Plus, he had a crazy last man standing match earlier in the night. So he's in the corner. Triple H throws Roman Reigns out, which everybody was cheering. Roman Reigns looked like he was crying in the corner. That'll really help with the fans, too, that you're crying like a little baby. But anyway, so he's out. So that's great because he's not keeping the title. But then I realized, oh, crap. They're going to give it to Triple H. Everybody's predictions that I was trying to stay away from because I was hoping he was not going to come in it was true. He's going to win the title. For a split second, I was like, oh, my God. Maybe they'll give it to Dean. That would be awesome. Dean looked great. If anyone, besides all the people I've been talking about that had a good night, the person that probably came out the best in the whole night was Dean Ambrose. He defended his title in a crazy-ass great opening match. Then he's the final 2 with Triple H in the Royal Rumble. Dean Ambrose had a great night, and he deserves it. I'm starting to get on the Dean Ambrose bandwagon. I never was, but I'm starting to get on a little bit. Would I like to see him throw some more moves in his repertoire? Yes. I'm getting a little tired of the, let me bounce off the middle rope, come back, and clothesline you. You know, okay. Great. You see it once. Wonderful. How about we do something new, Dean? It's not like you're sitting there in a wrestling ring all day, like you can't figure out a new move to do. But anyway, I digress. So, for a second, I was like, man, maybe they'll give it to Dean. That would be crazy. That'd be crazy booking. That'd be crazy writing. Maybe you have him going to WrestleMania with 2 titles and he's got to defend both. Wow. Could the WWE writing staff actually have maybe did something a little different? No, not the WWE. Not the World Wrestling Entertainment. Not the old World Wrestling Federation. No. Vince made sure his son-in-law, his 40-year-old son-in-law, became a 14-time world champion because Triple H threw Dean out and won the title. Triple H, who hasn't wrestled since last April, when he made Sting look like a jobber, when he should have put Sting over. Now, everybody's saying, oh, you know, they're doing it because, of course, it's going to be Roman Reigns versus Triple H for the title at WrestleMania. But again, who really wants to see that? Because the push for Roman Reigns has obviously failed miserably. So why do we have to sit through a 40-year-old man in Triple H who did the worst WCW booking I've ever seen? He booked himself to win the title. He booked himself to win the WWE title at 40 years old. He's I would say, not even a part-time wrestler. He's a once-a-year maybe wrestler. He just came back all of a sudden and beat all these guys and won the title? Come on. Come on. Were we all born yesterday? Are we fucking morons? The WWE played us again. It is the 3rd year in a row. And of course the place is going to pop. I mean, it's still Triple H. Like I said, I've never taken anything away from Triple H's wrestling ability and his character with DX and stuff. I loved all that. Stories I've read and heard and stuff about him personally. He seems like a big douchebag. He seems like a douche. I'm sorry. Don't they say all characters take bleed into a little bit of what you really are? And if everybody remembers the Hunter Hearst Helmsley character, he was a Greenwich snob douchebag. None of that could be a little true, maybe. But yeah, a 40-year-old, pretty much non-wrestler anymore, is the WWE title. He went in at number 30, convenient number 30, and eliminated whoever was left to win the title, to set up the match that nobody gives a shit about. Maybe they'll change something. You know, they seem to have been doing that the last couple of years. But I mean, is anybody excited for a WrestleMania main event of Triple H defending the title against Roman Reigns? Because Triple H will kill him on the mic in promos. Triple H will get probably over huge as the face, and Roman Reigns will be the heel. The total opposite of what they want. Because it is not working. It's time to give up on the Roman Reigns push. And this was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I don't care what anybody says trying to defend it. It was lazy booking, lazy writing. It reminded me of the WCW days when Hulk Hogan wouldn't lay down for Jeff Jarrett. Or Vince Russo wrote himself in as the champion. People are going to go back and go, oh, but what about 99? I think it was 99. 99 when Vince McMahon won the Raw. Their storyline was going on for months. That led to a storyline. That also led to a really good match at St. Valentine's Day Massacre that following February. Which, if I remember, I think was the debut of Big Show too, wasn't it? Like, wasn't he like the big nasty Paul White or something like that? But I mean, Triple H and Roman Reigns haven't been in the ring since Survivor Series in November. There was no build up to this. Okay, Vince and Stephanie were fucking with him for the last couple of months and weeks. Who cares? Who cares? It was stupid booking. It was lazy booking. And anybody wants to tell me that I'm wrong, I would love for you to come on my podcast or my YouTube channel or vice versa, and let's have a discussion. Because it was lazy, boring, predictable writing. Just like last year, just like the year before. The more and more of what's going on as the years go by, the more and more CM Punk is seeming to be pretty accurate in his explanation of why he left the WWE. It was a good Rumble with a horrible ending. My overall, if I had to rate out of 10, it was a 7. Intercontinental title match, awesome. US title match, okay. Divas match, good. Title match, good. Royal Rumble was really good up until the end. When Triple H needed an ego boost, I guess. I guess he couldn't get it up one night with Steph and needed to give himself a little bit of an ego boost and give himself the WWE title after not wrestling for almost a year. Makes sense. Yeah, makes sense for the storyline. Yep. Really makes sense. Great writing, guys. Great writing. So much potential. So much potential in this Rumble to really get it right, or at least get on track somewhere. I mean, you didn't need the title to prolong this Triple H Roman Reigns feud if they wanted to have it. They didn't have to put the title involved in it. When they have Triple H come out, him and Reigns fight, they eliminate each other. Leaving Sheamus, Dean Ambrose, let's say Bray, and Brock. Or if you don't want to go Brock, go Dolph Ziggler. Boom. You're guaranteed a new champion. You're guaranteed two of the guys, if they win it, are going to be first-time ever champions. Ziggler, I don't know what they did with him either. He was super over, and then I don't know what they're doing with some of these guys. Some people must be pissing people off left and right in the WWE. But you didn't need the title if you wanted to have a fucking Triple H Roman Reigns mid-card match at WrestleMania, because that's all it's going to be. It was stupid booking, lazy booking, horrible booking. That ending of the Royal Rumble was horrible. And people, oh, well, the crowd loved it. They popped. Yeah, okay. They popped because Roman Reigns wasn't the champion. The Brooklyn Brawler could have walked in there and won the title, and the place would have popped. Ric Flair could have come back out and pulled, that's what they should have done. Fuck it. Why not? They should have Ric Flair come in number 30 and win it. The last time the title was on the line, he won it back in 92. Have him win it again, 2016. Who gives a shit? He hasn't wrestled in ages. Why not? I mean, shit. Triple H won. I mean, if Sandow came out and eliminated and won the title, the place would have popped. Because it wasn't Reigns. It doesn't matter who won it. They were going to pop because it was not Reigns. Because Reigns is over. And I wish the WWE would stop pushing it down our fucking throats. All I could hope is that AJ Styles is here. We got a whole crop of guys coming up in NXT. You got Austin Aries coming to NXT. You got Sami Zayn coming up, hopefully. You got Baron Corbin. You got all these guys. Finn Balor. Can't wait for him. I'm hoping that these guys will come up. The WWE will do them right. Get them in good storylines. Well, you can't have good storylines, I guess, if your writing completely sucks dick. But that was my Royal Rumble take. Let me know what you thought as I get into the world of football real quick. So I'm not going to lie. I didn't do any podcasts last week, as we know. My predictions for the conference title was going to be, I was going to say New England and Carolina. I was half right. First off, I'm happy for Peyton Manning. Congrats to Peyton. He won. He beat New England. They're going to the Super Bowl. The Broncos are. And, I really am pulling for Peyton Manning and the Broncos. I want to see Peyton win and ride off in the sunset. Hopefully retire. Retire with hopefully he gets a second ring, and it put a close to a fantastic career. If he wins a second one, it'll be a pretty solid playoff record. If he loses again, he retires with a great career, an okay to not so great playoff career. But all in all, he's one of the greatest quarterbacks ever. And I'm glad to see that he's getting another shot to win a ring. And I really hope he does. And that's the team I'm rooting for, are the Broncos, for Peyton. They have a great defense. If Peyton can just avoid any type of, the offensive line has to protect him. They have to protect Peyton. Give him time. No interceptions, and they could beat Carolina. But Carolina's gonna be a tough team. They routed the Arizona Cardinals, which I didn't like Arizona anyway because of Carson Palmer. I thought the Packers should have beat them, but they didn't. And Cam Newton and the Panthers routed the Cardinals. And Carolina look legit. I mean, they look. I don't know how you bet against them. I'm just hoping for Peyton Manning to get his second ring, end a fantastic career with a Super Bowl win. I mean, Cam and the Panthers will probably be there again. They're a young team. It's going to be a good match, though. I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to be a really good game. Could be high scoring. Could be. It also could be low because both defenses are I think Denver's defense might be a little better, but both defenses are good. So it's going to be interesting. But I'm rooting for Denver and Peyton. I want to see Peyton get that second ring and end his career on a high note. He deserves it. He seems like a real genuine guy, really kind, polite, great for the sport. Of course, I'm a huge Eli Manning fan. I am a Giants fan. And Eli's the same way. Quiet, reserved, professional, just like his brother. The Mannings are a Class A family. They work for Class A organizations. And I would love to see Peyton ride off into the sunset with one more ring. He deserves it. So, congrats to Peyton Manning and the Denver Broncos. Congrats to Cam Newton and his Carolina Panthers. February 7th is Super Bowl 50. I think it's over in California. And I'm going with Denver. I don't know. By a field goal. There you go. By 3 points. Denver by 3. That's my prediction. Anyway, remember, guys, you could download us for free on SoundCloud. You could also head over to our YouTube channel, Everyday Geek. The rants are up there as well. You could like, share, leave comments. I will definitely get back to you. Let me know what you thought of the Royal Rumble, what you thought of the NFL Conference Championship games. And that's it. Again, I appreciate it. I love you guys for supporting and listening. Hope I didn't ramble too long. This is almost an hour. I apologize, but I knew once I got into the WWE Royal Rumble, I was going to rant and lose my shit. So hopefully you enjoyed it. And catch you on another one. Adios, guys.